On the programme. Now, though, let me go because I want to go to Margaret Cox, who joins me on line one today. Margaret, good morning to you.
Good morning, Keith. How are you?
Good. Thanks for joining us today. An interesting press release from you during the week in relation to you're looking for Irish-trained nurses and midwives to go to Australia, perhaps, for some career opportunities.
Yes, we are. I suppose for many years now, probably the last 14 years, we've had a relationship with a number of hospitals in Sydney, where every so often, probably about every 18 months to 2.5 years, there may be expansions in their nursing services there, and that creates short-term requirements or immediate requirements rather than short-term for particularly Irish nurses or indeed English nurses as well. They have a great affiliation and a desire to work with the Irish nurses and to bring them over to work in their hospitals. So once again, we're working with a hospital, St. George's Hospital in Sydney, to take over nurses in general, in ICU, in theatre, midwifery and mental health specialities. They're building a huge extension and they're starting to increase the number of nurses from January of 2017 through until the middle of 2018, July 2018.
Now, you sent over with the press release that I received from your colleague, you sent over some photographs. The photographs would be enough to make you want to pack your bags and go.
Yes.
It's a different style of life that one has out there.
Yeah, I think anybody who's been to Australia will sort of say that the one thing that's really great about it is flexibility in the work-life balance. And in particular in nursing, and indeed probably in lots of other careers, but in particular in nursing, there is a huge focus on a sense of employee well-being and flexibility and recognising the need for happiness outside of work as well as happiness within work, and a great focus on the value that particularly nurses bring to the healthcare system in the hospitals over there. So there's great opportunities for training and development. There's great opportunities for getting that balance right between sort of if you have children, looking after your children, if you're doing additional study and it's supported by the hospital, making sure that you have time for study leave, exam leave, and then opportunities to sort of develop more of your career in different areas outside of your core speciality. And that's the kind of focus that's over there, in addition to the photographs of Bondi Beach or climbing the bridge or Sydney Harbour or the Opera House, because that's all part of the life as well in Sydney. You know, you're sitting down having your coffee around Sydney Harbour or around Darling Harbour, or maybe taking a trip up to the wine country, whatever you're into, that type of way. It's very exciting, actually. I've spent a good bit of time there with the hospitals, making sure that we've got the proper programme set up and that we support the nurses when they get over there.
I'm sure some of the people listening to us in the Sale to Hospital group are roaring at the radio saying, for God's sake, we want to hold on to them here. Is there an age profile that would normally travel on this type of programme?
There's probably 3 different groups. There's the younger people who want more go over on the working holiday visa, and it's sort of they're going to travel for maybe 2 years and they can work 6 months in any one hospital. So they're the immediately ready to go people. And then there's people who might be in their probably 27, 28 up to about 35, 40, who are looking to sort of make a change, go for a couple of years, up to 4 years, and they go on a 457 visa and they're sponsored by the hospital. So it's not a permanent residency, though it can become a permanent residency. But generally that's for people who may not have family, who, it might be a couple going out together, it might be a one person going out on their own, but they don't generally have kids and that type of thing. And then we do see, particularly from the UK, more so than from Ireland, we see families relocating and making a life choice to relocate. And they tend to be sort of, 35 upwards, who might have a couple of kids, and they get a sponsored visa then for permanent residency. And so it's those 3 different groups. So it depends on the person's own, I suppose, a motivation for wanting to go. Some people just want a little bit of travel and a little bit of excitement. Other people want to progress their career, build up the type of experience that's highly valued when they come back here again. And I suppose that's the benefit for the Irish health system, is it's not saying goodbye to these nurses forever and ever. Many of them will return, and they will return with greater exposure to different health systems and lots of fantastic experience when they come back. And that's always good for our system back here.
Is there, the transfer expense, are they all covered by the hospital?
So there are various expenses that are covered by the hospital, but in terms of, you get yourself there, you pay your own fees, your own travel costs and that type of thing. But we support people in terms of applying for their registration in New South Wales, and there are some things that can be, once you take up the job there, that are given back to you, refunded back to you once you've taken up the job. But in this particular instance, there isn't a relocation package on offer on this occasion.
Okay, no relocation there. If they want to get further details, they can give ICE Group a call on 091 546 700. When are you looking for them, when is closing date on this, and when are you looking for them to take part in this programme?
So our first interview campaign is in Dublin. We're doing some in the UK the week before the bank holiday in October, and we're doing Dublin and possibly Galway or Cork, depending on the numbers, the week after the bank holiday. And that's for the first type of vacancies happening in early 2017. And we have about 150 applications at this stage, and they're all set up for interview. And then as we go through into next year, we'll have another campaign with some interviews, probably using the internet at that stage more so than having a team coming over from Australia. So the first set of interviews are the week before the bank holiday in the UK and the week after the bank holiday in Dublin and possibly other locations in Galway, in Ireland.
Are they the Australian team coming over for those interviews, yeah?
Indeed they are, yeah.
Wow.
We have a team of 3 people coming over, and we're supporting them through all of that because they're very excited. I mean, they put a huge effort into making sure the nurses know what they're coming, what opportunities are there for them. So they're very committed to making it a good experience for the nurses. And they like to sort of see what's happening over here as well. We do some hospital visits to sort of 1 or 2 hospitals, mainly in Dublin, just to have a chat and understand what's going on in the hospital scene here as well. So it's good to forge that, because often we would be bringing nurses back from Australia to Ireland, because it's a quid pro quo. There are Australian nurses who want to come and work here on short term, and I know that the health system welcomes that as well.
All right, further details can be had from the ICE Group. You can just go to 091 546 700. Your colleague Tom Cranley is handling it, and you can just make contact with them. Margaret Cox of the ICE Group. Thank you for joining us. Let us know what type of response you get to that. But if you're listening to us and you fancy, if you're a qualified nurse and you fancy heading to New South Wales, the ICE Group are looking for you to make contact with them. 091 546 700.